Hello, everybody! And it is live today. You guys are used to me on tape delay, but now you get me live. Very fun. Very exciting. Anyways, we are here at Nordschleife, aka the super extended Nürburgring Ring layout. I am your commentator, Michael Magas. Actually, I can, of course, put my name up on the screen if I remember how to do it. It's been a while since I did this. There we are. You see my name appear right before your eyes. There you go. There you go. Let me see here. Anything else I need to change up here? Standings manufacturer is up. Country driver flags are up. Tire compound is up. Awesome. Let's turn the indent focus driver on. Let's show relative timings in the standings, please. Portal team names. There you go. That'll bring that into play. That's probably about it, really. I think we're good. Anyways, this is the multi-community event with the ESR Esports Racing Argentina TUGAS, which is before you with the form of TUGAS TH. And that's it. I think it's just those three communities racing for supremacy here in Race Room with GT3 and GTE cars. The GTE cars are all the Porsche that you can see here in the form of TUGAS TH. Their liveries are all very similar, white and red. So I do apologize in advance if I get anything, if I misidentify a car at any point, because they are really similar. I don't have a better way of putting it. And we will go journeying through the Nordschleife countryside. I'll be firmly honest here. I'm not going to be naming turns here today because, honestly, there is... let's just go with, there is really no good way to remember Nordschleife turn names without, like, running the lap directly. It's one of those tracks that is supremely long. It has a lot of turns on it, and there is really no way to, in any way, handle the kind of volume that we're talking about here on a commentary. So that will not be happening today. We'll also probably have me go quiet a couple times because I am the producer and the sole caller, the sole commentator today, and as a result, there is a lot of work here. I have 4 different screens to look at, and this could be slightly insane. So let's go through the championship as it stands right now. There's, of course, a GTE and a GT3 championship going on simultaneously. It's a multi-class event. If you're not familiar with things like that, basically what you're talking about when you're talking about GTE and GT3 or any kind of multi-class combination is you have a fast class, you have a slow class. These are cars that really don't have business racing against each other in any way, shape, or form. And as a result, there will be a lot of blue flagging going on as the faster cars catch, which are the GTEs in this place. So this is the 5th round of the championship. We have been to Portimao, Lausitz Ring, Road America, and Slovakia Ring, and then after this we're off to Spa, Watkins Glen, the Daytona International Speedway, and Imola to round off the series. Pretty good track selection, to be honest. Kind of started with the lesser known but growing in fame Portimao. Lausitz Ring's always one that honestly I'm a little surprised it doesn't get a little bit more love. I know it shares a country at the Nürburgring Ring in Hockenheim, and that, if we're quite honest, is probably the problem. But there is some charm to it. And of course, Road America, famous American track. Slovakia Ring is a little bit lesser known. The Legend of Nordschleife, Spa, the Glen, Daytona speak for themselves. The tragic history, yet quality racing of Imola. I think it's a good calendar. In the GTE Championship, it is Jesus Huerta leading the way with 77 points. He has won all 3 races he has attended. He missed the Slovakia ring, and that allowed this man, Tobias TH, to get a win. Tobias is in second place on 65 points, 53 for Andrew D, who's on a streak of a pair of second place finishes. Then it is Gaston Lecurzi and Pedro Magalhaes rounding off the field. And then in the GT3 category, Josiah Jerome leads the way on 85 points. He is a 2-time race winner. Highest ranking non-race winner is Jamie Fordham, who's in second place on 52 points. Then it is Ariel Zatoni, the winner at Road America. The winner at Slovakia Ring, Luciano Ichazo in fourth. And then Gabriel, Don't Call Me Guido, Cantonati, rounding off the top 5. There's a lot more variance within the GT3 category. You're going to see BMW M6s. You're going to see Audi R8s. You're going to see an uncomfortably large number of Callaway C7s. Mercedes AMGs will also be in the field. The newest 2020 Mercedes AMG GT3 Evo car, which is a beautiful piece of masterful design. I'm not sure if we'll see anything else. There are other legal cars. The Bentley Continental 2020 will be in the field. And I'm not sure if anything else is running the other stuff. I think there are some other legal ones. I know the Porsche is legal in this series. The 911 Mark II, I believe. And I'm not sure if we'll see those because I don't recall if anyone's running them. But we'll see it. Championships are kind of wide right now, so there's not a lot to talk about there. No one's posted a time yet. This is an insanely long track. You can see there that Tobias has got 2 purple sectors and is over 4 minutes into the lap. Kind of insane. We're looking at a very, very long time here. I do like that I have the full recording panel now, so I can talk about tires. Interestingly enough, let's see, are there any GTEs who have gone with anything other than soft tires for qualifying? I assume not. There might be somebody. No, they're all on softs, so that makes sense. And then the GT3s are on hard tires. It is a single compound class. So nothing interesting there. Who do I like in this race, I guess, would be an interesting question. I don't really know, to be honest. It's always a complete roll the dice, honestly, at Nordschleife. You have some people who are these bizarrely talented at Nordschleife, and you have drivers who are very, very good that don't deliver. I mean, I'm always going to like Tobias TH's chances. This is a German track. The Germans race it a ton. He is, I believe, our only German in the field. And we're going to be looking at him to be a leader in this regard. No Audis today, by the way. I'm noting that there is no sign of Josiah Jerome in the field, who I believe was the only Audi R8. But we do have Bentleys, Callaways, Mercedes in the GT3 section, as well as Porsches. Interestingly, Rene Ermer seems to have switched his livery, which kind of disappoints me because I liked his old livery. So, boo, Rene Ermer. I like the old livery. I don't really love the Manthieu livery. I mean, it's neat. It stands out. It's a lime car, but there is that. Anyways, back to Tobias TH as he's coming around to finish his lap here, back into the stadium section, and we'll see what he can do. And he will go first by default, 7:46.396. Crack one out again. Not sure who's getting towards the end here. Let's pull up the track map, which is huge. All right, so who is kind of getting to the finish line is the question. Oh, there's Josiah Jerome. He just arrived late. There we go. He is here. Looks like Gaston Lecurzi might be close to the end of a lap, so let's get him on board here. 4.6 seconds off of the pace set by Tobias TH. Andrew D. Magic Cash check across the line. Honestly, I wouldn't pay a tremendous amount of attention to the gaps here. We're talking about a huge lap that has gaps that would be unacceptable at any other racetrack in the world. And it's going to be about keeping yourself out of trouble and being able to do some level of consistency. I'm a little surprised that Lecurzi lost so much in the third sector. I was kind of expecting him to at least be faster than Kazchuk, but he is not. So let's see here who's coming up. We have got, let's get Jesus Huerta. He is our GTE leader, so we might want to check out what he's doing. Purple in the first sector, 2.2 off in the second sector, so easily should be aiming for second or first place here. See what he can do. This long ass straightaway. John Barker, Mauricio Delgado, Martin Edmonds. That is the beginnings of the GT3 category, I do believe. Luciano Achazo. So it is looking like a 20-second gap between GTE and GT3 times. Imagine the long straightaway being a particular area of difference between the two. There's not as much handling difference between the two classes as there goes Jesus to second place. Man, that third sector that Tobias TH laid down, that is some hot shit right now. You know, look at what that, it's impossible to tell on my screen here. Unfortunately, the screens are just too bent out of shape here. There's just too much going on right now. Otherwise, I would break down what that time was. But, a lot of Tobias TH bringing it in the third sector. That is surprising. Not that surprising, I guess. Let's pick up Kerry Arnaud. He is doing a fair bit. If I can find him here. There he is. Kerry Arnaud. Rocking the GTE, the blank white Porsche. A little bit of black and red highlights. They really need to introduce some more liveries, even if they're completely fake liveries, into this class. It makes it just a lot more viable from a commentary standpoint. But he's got a decent lap going, 3.3 on the second sector. Now, of course, we know the third sector is where Tobias is bringing it. So we'll see what he can do. But I feel like he could maybe mix it up with the likes of Jesus and Andrew D if he gets a better third sector. We'll find out. Does feel like a top 4 lap, though, in the making. Luciano Achazo, still the top GT3. We'll get a GT3 next, I think, for a lap around here. See what Arnaud can do. So it looks like that's not going to work for me. I was hoping I could change cameras with this keyboard, but I cannot. So I'm going to have to... Let's see... Where is it? There it is. I can still reach the button. I moved the keyboard for the actual computer that's doing the recording off to the side, but I can reach the button for camera change. So we can still do this. Let's see what we got here. Ah, I like that one. Helicam is nice. But Arnaud did go third fastest, doing a good job. All right, let's get a GT3 on the board here, because we've been looking at GTEs the whole time. And that is going to be Vic Vega, who looks like he is the closest to being done. There is the Callaway C7. We'll be seeing a lot of the Callaway C7, and in particular, we'll be seeing a lot of that livery. The, oh, bottoming out. Spark show. Oh boy, lots of sparks. Might want to raise the car a little bit. This is not a low-rise track. It does have a lot of elevation changes, and Vega is giving us a show here with these sparks. You also see a couple things you won't generally see at a racetrack. There's graffiti on the track and so on. This is a track that for the longest time has been open to the public. And you can see what that kind of leads to. Oh boy. I'm gonna love that camera right there through the carousel. That could be Excellent. Pick up Vic Vega here. Looks like he is... again, I'm not really liking that they're comparing his time to that of the actual pole sitter, so we can't really tell where he is in relation to the pole sitter for his actual class, but it is what it is, I suppose. Is there something I could turn on there? Because I seem to recall there being an option there. So let's pull up the options here and take a look. Show, oh, there we are. Show multi-class UI. Thank you. Although I think we are still getting the delta to the actual pull time. I very much doubt that Mr. Vic Vega is 7.3 seconds off in the first sector from Luciano Echazo threw down. That is probably at the GTE time. There we go. As a proof, he is second quickest. Only 2/10 off of Luciano. Very nice. So it looks like the GT3s might have a little bit of a closer battle here today. Let's see. Don't want that. See here, anyone else coming up? Ooh, Jamie Fordham's coming up towards the end of his lap, and he is, usually speaking, a hot driver. So let's see what he's got. He was only 10.8 off at the end of the second sector, and I think Vic Vega was like 12. So this could be a pole time for the GT3 category. Looks like there is sparks coming off of him as well, so maybe that's just a GT3 thing. Might be a couple of cars running low as opposed to Slovakia Ring, where we saw this from Josiah Jerome predominantly. Oh, that was not clean through carousel. See what he can do to clean this up. I thought he was up at like about a second, honestly, on the pole time, so he may yet still have something for us here. Down the long straight, the roar of the BMW M6. I'm known as a bit of a BMW M6 hater, which is kind of weird because I like the look of the car, I like the concept of the car. It's just that when you look at what it replaced in the Z4 and you look at its success in the GT3 ranks, it's just not been very good. Get some sparks going. And from a team, or a manufacturer, I should say, with the pedigree of BMW, the M6 has to be considered a failure. So he's coming up behind one of the Callaways. And goes P3 in the GT3 category. Quite a ways off. I think his third sector looked very, very problematic. Track map is not working right now, which is a bit of a problem. Let's try clicking again. There we go. Shows up with that. Let's have a look at Dan Fight. Coming down in, or David Fight. I don't know why I keep saying Dan. We have so many Davids in ESR. Dave Nelson, Dave Jones, Dave James, and so on, that like you'd think if I see a D and I'm uncertain of the name, I would just default to Dave. But alas, I don't. I keep wanting to call him Dan Fight. So I don't know. Leave in the comments below if you think that there's like a famous Dan Fight that I am confusing our boy Dave with. Because I don't know. Can't think of anything. We did have this with the Super Mega Baseball stream the other night where I was like, where do I know the name Jeff Ross? And of course it's a comedian. And we also saw with Gabriel Canonati earlier this season with me making the connection with Guido Canetti, the MMA fighter. So David Fight heading down the long straightaway here. 12.3 off is not bad. So we can do Chazo, Vega, Fordham, Delgado, and Edmonds, your top 5 in GT3 right now. Tobias T8, Jesus Huerta, James Butler up to 3rd, Andrew D, and Kerry Arnaud. Things are getting closer. Looks like Tobias TH maybe hit the nail on the head a little bit early. And Fight goes 7th quickest in the GT3 category. Right, who's next with 10 minutes to play here? You know what, let's have a look a little further back. Let's get on with Martin Edmonds. ESR admin, Martin Edmonds. Like to see what he can do in that frickadelli Porsche. There's the ESR homepage, for those who don't know it. Let's see what he can do here in his Porsche 911 Mark II. Again, the gaps are being shown to the GTE class, so I have no idea what good gaps are. This is the problem with multi-class racing. Looked like Sector 2 was anything from 10 to 12 seconds off. It was a fairly decent time, so we'll see what he can do. Love the scenery around here. I'll give it that. What can Martin do? Just got knocked out of the top 10 by a new GT3 Pulsar, Adam Komarowski, in the Bentley. So it's a Bentley 1-2 right now. I don't know if that suggests that the Bentley is particularly strong around Nordschleife, or more likely that Ichazo and Komarowski are very fast drivers. Probably the latter. They have been top men in the division. Ichazo, of course, a winner at Slovakia Ring last time out. Komarowski wasn't in my rundown of the standings, but I've always thought of him as a very fast driver. He did get a podium at Slovakia Ring. You know what it is? He didn't participate at Lausitz Ring and got nagged with a penalty at Road America. So I think that's probably why he's a little bit further back. But 10 seconds off looks pretty good for Martin. This could be a good lap. Could be back into the top 5 off this one. See what he can do. We try to give everyone a little bit of love with their liveries here in qualifying. Except for the GTE guys. You guys get pooped on because your liveries are all the same. Or very, very similar. It's just not their fault. That's just how the game is. So this will probably be Martin's last lap, I would think. Probably cannot get another one in after this, so for all the marbles. Martin, of course, has been a regular in this series. Currently 8th place in the standings. Best results is a pair of 4ths, which he did back-to-back at Lausitz Ring and Road America. Which you could argue are not very much like this track. I'm sorry if you can hear my drinking. There's just no way to really do a push-to-talk scenario right now. You may hear me partaking in my water bottle. Just a little squeeze, hockey style water bottle. As opposed to my usual drinking method of choice when it comes to racing, which is the camelback on the back of the chair. Edmonds got pretty airborne there. A couple of the cars have done that. So, getting some showers of sparks. And of course, being low to the ground is going to help you with that straight line speed down that really, really long straightaway, which is kind of key to being able to successfully compete around here. So I do get it. I do wonder if they're maybe a little too low, though, still. Tobias TH still at the front. Where to Butler, Arnaud, and D. No real changes there. I think Arnaud jumped D, but that's about it. Bit of a mistake there from Martin. Hopefully that does not rob him. He's on a good lap right now. So the steward's chilling out. Audi Sport R8. Sadly, only one R8 in the field today. Love that car, and Josiah Jerome has yet to place a lap time out there, and, well, to be honest, a little bit worse. He's in the pits right now, so it looks like he is not going to post a lap time. Interesting enough. He is the only car without a lap time that is currently not trying to set one. That is, That is interesting. A couple other cars have packed it in. David Veit, Rene Ermer, Wayne Hutchison. Josiah back out. Now it's too late, Josiah. It's too late. Martin coming to the end of the lap here. And he goes P4. You go. Martin showing up as the top ESR competitor in the GT3 field at the moment. Let's get a look at Gabriel Caminati. Because he has not put a lap time up yet. The pressure is on right now for him to get it done. Bertrand Barrier, Max Simmons look like they're not going to get a lap time in. By the way, we got 10 GTEs, 15 GT3s, so 25 cars. In total, 5 cars with no lap time posted. They are Cantonati, Davidson, Simmons, Barrier, and Jerome. And to be honest, of that group, only Cantonati and Davidson, I think, really have a chance of getting a lap time in. See what Gabriel can do here. One of the GTs zipping up behind him. Stein Shocks. Yokohama tires. I remember one of my more amusing memories of Nordschleife, of course, was when WTCC came here for the second time, and they invited, of course, the late Sabita Schmitz, to race with them. And they did this whole package of the field basically kind of being afraid of her, which was pretty amusing. They're all like, nah, she's not going to come back this year. No. She came here last year. She didn't do very well. And then at the end, you know, she pops up like, hi, guys, I'm back. And Tom Cornell being the, oh, no, Steve Davidson, that's a wall. That's another wall. I don't think he's going to get a lap time in. It's a shame, actually. He was doing very well. That looked like it was actually a good lap before that. Let's see what Jesus Huerta can do here. He's going for the pole. Not enough time there. Time will run out long before he can do anything. Same with Gaston Lecurzi. Mauricio Delgado, maybe? All right, I think Mauricio got a lap in. Pick up Mauricio Delgado. Extreme Racers, rocking the Callaway C7. A lot of people rocking this livery, and don't get me wrong, it's a very nice livery, but I do kind of wish we had less of them, because it is actually fairly hard to identify them, because you've got Mauricio running that livery, you've got Steve Davidson running that livery. I think they're the only two today. So actually, it'll be fairly easy to keep track of on this particular occasion. Unless they end up racing each other, then it will be a little bit harder. But we're down to only 5 Callaways today. Henrik Ermer is also in the Callaway, along with Ariel Zatoni, Delgado, Davidson, and Veit. All right, Mauricio, what you got? Looks like he's got 2 PBs in the first and second sector. Can he improve on 6th place? He can! Mauricio Delgado going to pole position for GT3. 9th place overall. Very nice. I think he'll start 11th because Simmons and Barrier, who did not post lap times, will be going for it. Adam Komorowski just taking pole back. We couldn't get to him a couple seconds sooner, but he got the job done. Martin Edmonds, not going to post a lap time. No, Max Simmons. Don't think Josiah will either. I think that's our grid. So, yep, there it is. Tobias TH will start on pole from Jesus Huerta and James Butler. Andrew D, Kerry Arnaud, Magic Kashchuk, Roman Barthez, and Gaston Lecurzi. Then it'll be Simmons and Barrier, who did not get a time in. Komorowski and Ichazo are the Bentley Bread in a Callaway sandwich with Mauricio Delgado. Vic Vega. Actually, Vega's running the same livery, so we got 3 of that livery. Vega, Martin Edmonds, Jamie Fordham, Ariel Zattoni, Rene Ermer, David Feit, John Barker, Gabriel Cantonati, Wayne Hutchison. So the Mercedes crew are a little bit further down the grid. And Henrik Ermer, as well as 2 GT3s that did not get lap times in. Those are Steve Davidson and Josiah Jerome. So it'll be interesting to see what Jerome can do, because he's a championship contender in GT3. I mean, he's leading the championship. He's got 2 wins to his name. He is 33 points ahead of Fordham, and then it's pretty tight, because you got 6 points back of that is Zattoni, and then 2 points back of that is Ichazo. So he does have a reasonable lead, and this is a track where qualifying is not necessarily a huge deal. So I was gonna say, let's get a look at Josiah Jerome, but he is not being shown on the camera right now. Still remembering how to use everything here. And interesting. Looks like most of the GTEs have swapped over to medium tires, maybe for the start of the race. We'll see what happens. Anyways, here is Josiah Jerome. That is a really weird livery. That is a bizarre livery he is sporting. I don't know if I like it or not, but it is weird. Here's the man who is dominating it all, Jesus Huerta, in the GTE category. 77 points to his name, the only man with 3 wins. And his winning streak only stopped when he did not attend the Slovakia meet. So we'll see what he can do from P2 behind Tobias TH. So a lot of people are not doing complete laps, which I cannot particularly blame them. So let's get into... Let's see if we get a decent camera view here. And maybe go through some liveries and some people as we go on here. There used to be a way to change cameras on... Oh, there it is. Okay. Found it. No chase cam. This is disappointing. Alright, well, like I said, the GTE's all kind of similar liveries. Not much to pick from in that regard. You can see what I mean. They're all predominantly white with some black and red. Will hopefully not butcher too bad. I do really like this net livery that the Bentley has. It's sadly the only Bentley livery, but we only have 2 in the field, so it's not too bad. But Adam Komorowski running that, as well as Luciano Ichazo. We got Rene Ermer in the Manthey Porsche. We showed that earlier, and the oddity that is this very multicultural or multicolored Audi livery sported by Josiah Jerome. See if anyone else is on the track to get a good look at their livery. And the answer is nobody. Nobody right now. See what happens here in the long run. I want to say, is this a... How long is today's race? That, I guess, is the question. Nordschleife. Let's see, info. This is... I was going to say, this has to be one of the 90-minute races. And it is. As well as Road America and Portimao, which we've done in Spa, Daytona, and Imola. will also be 90-minute races. Single pit stop for at least 2 tires. I think on this track you probably take 3, but I didn't do much in the way of running, as I am missing this race for basically 2 reasons. Number 1 is my general pussiness of not wanting to do Nordschleife, and second, I did recently have a biopsy done on my arm, so my arm is not the most comfortable thing on the planet right now. I'm not even practicing for the upcoming 3D Speed event or anything like that. My Honda team will be greatly disappointed on that. But unfortunately, not quite feeling up to it. Anyways, start of the race is here. Turn the auto director back on. Don't think I need anything else changed. I think we are ready to go. All right, so 90 minutes with a single pit stop around Nordschleife. Here we go as everybody is loading in. GTs in front of the GT3s. 10 GTs, 15 GT3s. 25 cars in total here at the Nordschleife. After this, gonna go for a walk, and then probably this evening finish off the started 3D Speed Stewarding with semi-retired Jack. All right, on board with Romain Barthez. Red lights, and we are green at the Nordschleife. Heading down to the first corner. Might be a little bit hard to hear me right now, as that's a lot of cars echoing on top of each other. And I'll give you the tire rundown. So medium is the choice for GTEs at the start here. The only exceptions are Jesus Huerta, Romain Barthez, and Gaston Lecurzi, who are all rocking the softs. So they're going to need to make progress early if they're going to make that soft tire gamble worthwhile. We'll see if they can. They are 2nd, 7th, and 8th right now. Tobias TH leads the way from Huerta, D, Butler, Kazchuk, and in the GT3 category it is Komorowski leading the way from Fordham, who's up to 2nd place. Edmonds and Ermer, some problems, I suspect, from Mauricio Delgado, as well as the Bentley of Gaston Lecurzi, because Luciano Chazo, pardon me, because Chazo is back in 24th place, and we see Delgado down in 16th, despite the fact they qualified in the top 3. One of the GTs going wide there. I'm sorry, it's one of the white ones. I don't know. It was probably Kerry Arnault. Banging fenders with Bertrand Barrier and Max Simmons, the 2 cars that did not manage a legal lap around Nordschleife in the qualifying session. Hanging on for now, and there is the GT3 leader, Komorowski, who is quite a ways ahead, actually. Already over a 2nd clear of Martin Edmonds, who has gotten past Jamie Fordham. Jesus Huerta in 2nd place. Tobias TH up ahead. Andrew D in the back shot. Up the hill we go, up the bump. Into the forested lands of Germany. Arnault dropping back behind Barrier and Simmons, so he's getting dropped a little bit. On board with Mauricio Delgado, who's back up into 4th place, hunting down Vic Vega. Fordham's fallen all the way back to 5th, so not good times for the BMW racer, who is under pressure now from Josiah Jerome, who himself is defending against the Callaway C7 of Ariel Zatoni, and Zatoni indeed getting through. No, he didn't get through. He got kiboshed. Is now under pressure from the Porsche of... That is Rene Ermer. Rene, why the change in livery? Very disappointed. I actually really liked the livery that Rene Ermer was running earlier this season. Everyone's still pretty close together, except for Komorowski in the GT3 category. Although Henrik Ermer and Dan Veit have fallen quite a ways back. Henrik may not showing any damage. That's good. David Veit, he's okay as well. All right, Josiah Jerome on the attack against Jamie Fordham in the BMW M6. We've seen this M6 get up to second place off the bat and then has been falling back ever since, losing spots to Edmonds, to Delgado, to Vega. And Josiah Jerome is generally a cut above those guys. Let's see what he can do. Ariel Zatoni in the background. Another race winner. Check in on Vic Vega and Martin Edmonds side by side. Vic Vega getting the job done in his second place. Oh no, in the wall. Terrible news for Vega. That car is going to be very unpleasant to drive. Down the stretch. Romain Barthez, along with Gaston Lecurzi, trying to make those soft tires work. They are, however, bottled up behind Magic Kazchuk right now. They have made some progress, so the softs are notably quicker than the mediums, at least at the moment, but those tires will last a shorter period of time, and they will wear quicker. We'll see what they can do. We'll see what Barthez can do, and what Lecurzi can make happen here, because they are the gamblers. Not terribly surprised Jesus Huertas is running these softs. I think he's just going for the big win at this point. So if he can do it, oh, somebody off. That is Gaston Lecurzi. That is not going to help the softs at all. He is now mixed up in GT3 traffic. There is Jesus Huerta, championship leader, at least in the GTE category. The technically largest point scorer is Josiah Jerome. I see Fordham has dropped behind Josiah Jerome. He's also lost out to Ariel Zatoni, so the free fall of Jamie Fordham continues. I feel like I might take manual control and just direct us there, because he seems to be at the center of everything right now. On board with Max Simmons. Staring at the back of Bertrand Barria, these two did not manage to qualify, but it does look like they've got a reasonable run going right now. And of Kerry Arnaud as well as Gaston Lecurzi. And I think that soft tire gamble by Lecurzi is just not going to work out, as Josiah Jerome is all over the back end of Mauricio Delgado. I think these two had a good battle at Slovakia Ring after Josiah Jerome hit early trouble. Now he is back to try to repay the favor. Although this time it's not because of problems per se. He just didn't get a lap in qualifying. He had to start dead last. But here he is looking for a podium. He's got Gaston Lecurzi there behind him. It'll be interesting to see what he can do with that the boost, that blue flag scenario. Or not really a blue flag scenario, but sort of an affected blue flag scenario because of the class differential. It doesn't look like Lecurzi has damaged his car in that collision at all. Looks like he is largely okay. John Barker, Vic Vega having a good fight as well. Wayne Hutchison, Chazo in the mix. Down the long straight, this will be where the GTE really shows its legs. Should be able to get clear of both of them, and Josiah Jerome trying to go for it. That's smart. Josiah picking up the GTE Draft. Delgado moves to cover. Edmonds is trying to break the draft as well. Edmonds is now suddenly involved in this fight. Second, third, and fourth in the GT3 category, fighting here early on. It's gonna be what, a 15 or so lap race probably. Imagine. Maybe not quite that much. It's about 8 minutes a lap. Be 10, 11, 12. Probably like 12-ish. Josiah outbraking himself just a little bit. Pick up on Vic Vega, who is about to lose a spot to Luciano Echazo. That car not looking happy. It's Wayne Hutchison up ahead. John Barker also sporting some war wounds there in the red BMW M6. And Josiah is back up on the keister of Mauricio Delgado. Can he get the job done? Also, can Echazo get the job done on Wayne Hutchison? Yes, he can. And he opens up a big door for Vic Vega to follow him through. Damaged up car of Luciano Echazo is still making the moves, though. John Barker also got through. Wayne Hutchison in all kinds of troubles, despite the fact that his car appears to be more intact than the guys around him. Gabriel Canonati is next on the list. Let's see what happens. Roman Barthez and Andrew D are battling it out for third place. It's an interesting conundrum from D because he's got the harder tires on. He's got the mediums on as opposed to the... Or no, Barthez has got mediums. No, Barthez is on softs. So, Barthez on softs knows he has to make it through here. He's finally gotten through on Kazchuk, and he would really like to leave something behind in regards to one of his big rivals there, James Butler. Oh! Beautiful move from Roman Barthez, and that is P3 for the Argentine driver. D now under attack from Magic Kazchuk. See what Kazchuk can do. James Butler in the mix as well. They've got a good cushion back to Barrier and Simmons, as well as Kerry Arnaud. Kersey has gotten through the GT3 traffic and at least is now 10th on track, as well as 10th in class. Fordham losing another spot to Luciano Echazo. And, oh, he's sideways, and Echazo's in the wall. Oh, no! Getting clipped. I think that was by Dave Fight. And a battling day for Luciano Echazo. And I hate to be that guy who oversimplifies things, but Fordham has got a seriously damaged rear end. And that probably indicates a penalty for Luciano Echazo, because if we're being honest, normally speaking, if you rear end an opposing car, it is you that will get the penalty. We didn't see it, so I can't say for certain. But Fordham's car has all the hallmarks of someone who's taken significant damage in an area that usually would be a penalty for the guy who did it. Meantime, Josiah Jerome's still on the ass of Mauricio Delgado and Martin Edmonds. It does feel like maybe he's a bit of a cork in the bottle. He's right now corked in the bottle right now. You know, did qualify last, but again, it was because he didn't post a lap time. So we don't know what his true speed is in relation to the others. His best lap is slower than Delgado's. Edmonds has no fastest lap to compare to. But it does feel like he is the fast man in this train, and it's only a matter of time before he finds his way through. Feel really bad for Jamie Fordham out there. Had the elation of second place. Down in 14th place in his class now. And he's going to have to carry that gimped car around until we get a opening of the pit window. And that is going to be painful. Let's see what Mauricio Delgado can make happen here. All over the back end of Mauricio Delgado. Delgado getting jinky. This is by far the best battle on the track right now. These are actually the gap between Delgado and Edmonds is actually the second closest gap right now, so we will stick with this as opposed to the auto director play. Let's see what happens. Keeping my eye out for anything else that develops, really, but I mean, there's some close stuff. Andrew D is right now the cork in the bottle with Kaschuk and Butler. That might turn into something. Wayne Hutchison's on the back of John Barker, and Steve Davidson's closing them both down. So that could be an interesting scrap further down the field. But right now, this is the one. But a mistake there from Josiah Jerome breaks it up for now, and Mauricio can breathe ever so slightly easier. Let's get the action cam going. Lots of sparks. We don't see them from the GTE cars, it seems, but the GT3s are definitely running low enough to the ground to get it going. Adam Komarowski up ahead. That's the GT3 leader in the Bentley. Ariel Zatoni not quite able to stay with this group, but that might work out for him in the long run. Just having some clear air right now. Not a bad place to be. Max Simmons all over the back of Bertrand Barrier. It looks like Barrier is crabbing and might have made a mistake at some point. It's P7 for Simmons. And back to the Josiah Jerome festivities. Martin Edmonds is pulling away with these two fighting. Edmonds is really happy with this arrangement right now. It's buying that Frickadelli Porsche a lot of time. Gap is up over a second. Check out Wayne Hutchison, who is closing down the BMW of John Barker. Barker's sporting some damage. Looks like Hutchison's kind of found his groove. Bringing it back in. Don't know what was up with the post-con banner. Not sure what the deal is there. I guess that maybe that's ADAC GT's sponsor. Oh, Andrew D, James Butler, Magic Kaschuk. We can't miss this one. This is a hell of a fight. We missed D losing two spots, actually. Or one spot to Kaschuk. And Butler smells blood in the water, I think. Give you guys a really... Oh, Josiah. We went away from Josiah and he got the jump. Oh, well, maybe not. Spoke too soon. We got it going. Andrew... It's time for Josiah Jerome, Mauricio Delgado to throw down once again. Rene Ermer, by the way, up on Ariel Zatoni. Looks like Zatoni has made a mistake. Let's check that out real quick. There it is. Ermer on the tail of the carbon destroyer, Ariel Zatoni. Oh, Mauricio's on the attack against Martin. Martin, how have you lost this out into turn one? And Mauricio Delgado, under intense pressure for third place, has taken second. Dumping Martin Edmonds down a spot. Wow. Mauricio. Giving him a big round of applause. I can actually clap when I'm not using push to talk. Although it hurts. So my arm... My left arm really does not want to move up above my waist. Like, it wants the hand to be permanently locked to around thigh level. That's the goal right now. Side Jerome up on them. Let's take a look at the Butler D fight for a moment. Hopefully something doesn't materialize between that GT3 fight that we've been spending a lot of time on. And James Butler goes around D and has gotten the spot. I think, no. No, wait, that is Kaschuk. So Magic Kaschuk made a mistake. Max Simmons is suddenly with this group, as is Bertrand Barrier. Sometimes fighting is not a great idea, as Jamie Fordham appears to be packed at the side of the track. It looks like he might be done. Luciano Echazo in the pit lane, as well as David Feit. This is not open season for them as far as the pit lane is concerned. So, not great. Butler tucked up behind D. Kazchuk falling back, so he may have some damage from whatever misadventure he had. We did not catch it. James Butler. The Butlertron 9000. By the way, the soft tires seemingly have paid off for Romain Barthez. He's up into 3rd place, which we saw earlier, and Dave Feit's got ace drive through. Oh no, that is Magic Kazchuk off the track again. He is definitely sporting some damage, and that is going to let Max Simmons through, as well as probably Bertrand Barrier. That Porsche is not happy. I expect to see him in as soon as the pit window opens. I think he's the only GTE really sporting a ton of damage. Lecurzi had his moment earlier, but seems to have escaped mostly unscathed. Josiah, by the way, got the job done and is now ahead of Martin Edmonds. Butler's still putting the pressure on Andrew D. And Josiah is back on the tail of Mauricio Delgado. Will that come through to anything? See, John Barker is out. Jamie Fordham is out. Chazo is leaving the pits, so he is still going. 23 cars left here at Nordschleife. Lost 2. Fordham taken out. Not sure what happened with Barker. He was having a fight with Wayne Hutchison, and we did not see anything happen between the two of them. But presumably, something must have happened. Also seeing a lot of damage on Kerry Arnaud's car. Let's have a look. It's keeping up. Doesn't look that damaged. Looks fairly similar to Kazchuk, who is not showing as damaged on the commentary tool. Bertrand Barrier, side by side with the aforementioned Magic Kazchuk. Trying to get around him. Kazchuk is defending hard despite the damage. Josiah Jerome putting the pressure on Delgado again. Edmonds cannot keep with them. That's what I thought. I thought Edmonds was the cork in the bottle. And once these two got clear of him, they could sprint. Would have probably actually been a good idea for Jerome to stop attacking Delgado some time ago and let that happen. And just let Delgado get by Edmonds and then have Jerome do the same thing. Sort of a not a team thing, obviously, but teamwork would have been ideal, I think. But Edmonds benefited from their battling. And Bertrand Barrier is all over the back of Kazchuk still. Let's see what happens. Getting a lot of alerts about like close battles, but they're between guys that we've seen a lot of, and they've not managed to get the job done. Specifically, this battle between Barrier and Kazchuk, and then Delgado versus Jerome. We're now over 20 minutes into the race. Barrier with a spin. It's going to open the door for Kerry Arnaud. So both of them are carrying damage now. And Arnaud gets by pretty easily. Let's have a look at Josiah and Delgado. We've seen a lot of them. We're probably going to keep seeing a lot of them. Two of the young guns of ESR going head to head. Actually, I don't know how old Mauricio is. He strikes me as a young driver. And I do know that Josiah, despite the incredibly deep voice that he brings to the table, is in his teens. So they particularly great battle going on right now. Butler and D is settled a little bit for the moment, but I think that'll resume at some point. What'll be interesting to see is when Barthez starts to lose ground on the soft tires. That'll be I think, our next big crossover point. When do the softs stop working? And you can predict down below, or use your knowledge of this race to cheat and totally make yourself look like a genius. Which I swear I never do with the after-action reports. You are getting the rarity of seeing me process everything live. But Josiah Jerome trying to get the job done. And again, being held off by Mauricio Delgado. Still hanging on there, but this straightaway is where there's a potential for overtakes. Get into that draft and make use of it. Don't go too early. You want to go late. That's too early. That's too early, Josiah. He's just going to hit the wall of air. I mean, he may still get it done, because I think that Callaway is at a straight line disadvantage to the Audi. But yeah, tucked back in. You got to stay in. You got to stay in. You got to be patient and make the move late on that straightaway. As we head back into the arena section of the track. Let's check out Butler and D. Butler is back on the attack for 4th place. See what he can do. Max Simmons is keeping up with him nicely. Good to see Simmons after not being able to get a lap time in. Oh, Josiah Jerome's got it! Into turn 1, we missed it. I am sorry, Josiah Jerome fan club. And the Mauricio Delgado fan club. Well, I guess the Mauricio Delgado fan club probably liked the fact that I didn't show it. But we missed it. It finally came. They were flirting with us for so long. There was a ton of tease going on. And now, it has happened. Josiah Jerome is P2. Does he have anything for Adam Komorowski, who is about 3 seconds up the road? I don't know. We'll see. It's the problem when he doesn't qualify. Max Simmons on the attack against Butler. Butler on the attack against Andrew D. Probably focus on Butler here, being that he is the chased and the chaser. So that is probably the best place for the camera to be. Delgado is keeping up with Jerome and actually closing the gap. So, I don't know if he's done. I don't know if the C7 Hope train is off the rails yet. This is a tough one for me, because of course I am driving a C7 in this series, so you got that pride going at it, but I'm also an Audi fanboy. So, it's a tough one. It's a really tough one. My Audi fanboydom is the fact that the first actual race car I ever drove was an Audi. And as a result, that is always going to be sort of my first passion, as it were. And I mean, admittedly, we're not talking about like an R8 or anything. It was just a race trim A4. But, oh no! Off the track is Andrew D. And Butler's through. And Simmons is through. Andrew D. with a costly mistake. Was in 3rd place, now down to 6th. Rough times for him at the moment. So many invalid laps coming up, it's hard to really figure out who's going fast. Stick with this for a little bit here. Because this is about it. Josiah Jerome has pulled out a 1.5 second lead over Delgado, so looks like the Callaway doesn't have it. Henrik Irmer is in the pit lane. I was going to say he's either in the pits or off the track. Medium tires. Question, of course, becomes what tires are these guys going to go on to at the pit stop? Is it a medium-soft plan? Is it a soft-medium plan? Is there a hard tire plan at work here? I don't know. I haven't done the tire wear numbers. Pit lane window is, by the way, open, so Irmer is at least getting his actual pit stop served. And he is the first one who will do so. We've seen Ichazo in the pits, but that unfortunately was before the window. Bad day to be Luciano Ichazo right now. Mostly because I think we may have caught him in what might end up being a penalty. And that will go to the stewards, but also at the same time, just a bad race. On one that he definitely has pace for, because he qualified top 3. He was third place on the grid behind Komarowski and Delgado. And that probably should have served him for a possible top 5 here today. But alas, that will not... Well, that may yet be the case. This is Nordschleife. But it doesn't feel like that will be the case. Soft tires appear to be still going. 755s being posted by 2 of the soft runners, so that's pretty good. Fastest lap of everyone last time around was only 753. And that was Tobias TH, who seemingly has his thing on right now. And Huerta, the soft runner who you would think be doing fast laps, is doing mostly invalid laps. And his best lap is actually only 8 minutes. So Max Simmons now on the tail of Butler. This could get interesting because, of course, these two are kind of ESR bad boys. They're both guys who will do somewhat unadvised things as drivers, and we could see something here. We could see something interesting. They're aggressive, untempered guys, but very fast. Now let me impugn the quality. Oh, Simmons getting a little out of shape there. Don't let me impugn the quality of the drivers when I say that. I'm just saying they're a little aggressive, and the camera loves them. That's what happens. That's pretty much all that there is really right now. Bertrand Barrier is catching up to Kerry Arnault. Both cars carrying significant damage. Apparently Arnault more so, because along with actually Andrew D. Or Simmons. Simmons is being shown with 100% damage. I'm not seeing it though. It's a bit weird. Anyways, Simmons and Barry are the damaged ones. Could be suspension damage. Could be something non-visible on Simmons' car that is not going well. I don't know. We'll see. Soft tire gamble has not worked out for Gaston Lecurzi. That contact that put him back in the GT3 pack has largely rendered him kind of out of the proceedings, really. See the gap there, 24, 25 seconds behind this battle between Barrier and Arnault. And I'm not getting accurate lap times from him because they're largely coming in invalid. So I have no idea what those soft tires are doing for him right now as we are past 1/3 distance. Figure we'll probably see a lot of the pit stops shake out in the next 15 minutes or so. And then we'll really have we'll have a little bit of a better picture of how everything is. Not a ton happening right now. Things are at a little bit of a lull here. This is where I would turn to my usual co-commentator Byron Dirksen to relay you with some slightly useless but interesting intellectual conversation about mixed martial arts and about I don't know, pro wrestling, heavy metal, nerd stuff. But I don't have him today for such inspirational comments. Max Simmons is back up on James Butler, so let's get a look at that. For a damaged car, that car is going fast. And Simmons really just kind of left Butler for dead. I have no idea what damage he's sporting right now, because it says 100% damage. I don't know. It says 100% engine damage, which is definitely not the case. So I feel like I'm being lied to by the damage readout here. Simmons is ahead. James Butler pit stop. Gaston Lecurzi in. So maybe feeling like these soft tires have faded off on him. Of course, he's not really in a battle with anyone, so tough times. So we can do. Vic Vega, by the way, getting into it with Rene Ermer, getting around the outside of him. Not sure what happened to Ermer there. That fight just kind of came out of nowhere. Usually means that probably a mistake happened. Stick with it for a bit. These are two cars that we haven't showed a ton of love to. A lot of damage on the Callaway C7, sported by Vic Vega. And the Rene Ermer Manthey Porsche looking perfectly fine. So, I like his chances to get that spot back, probably. Just keeping my eye out for any other pit stops. It's just Lecurzi in the pit lane at the moment. What tires did he go on? It is mediums from Gaston Lecurzi. So, it looks like, at least in Lecurzi's opinion, there really isn't a reason to use the hard tires here on the GTE cars. So, we'll see if anyone uses them. But it looks like the tire deg is low enough that that's not really a concern for the GTE crowd. Because Lecurzi is pitting relatively early. He's going to have to get 55 minutes out of this set. And coming off the soft tires. So it does definitely feel like we're going to look at a medium soft, soft medium strategy at play here. But we'll see. As Gabriel Canonati is into the pit lane. That'll be, I think, a long pit stop, judging by that damage. Tremblarier. Seems like him and Kerry Arnaud have honestly been going at it for a really long time. And that battle for 8th place does continue. Vega's pulling away from Ermer, so despite the superficial damage, looks like there is actually more of a chance to make things happen for Vega right now, which is interesting. Josiah Jerome closing the gap to Komorowski for GT3 supremacy. That's down to 1.6 seconds. And they've absolutely left Edmonds and Delgado for dead. So they are definitely battling it out for today's win. But it's Nordschleife. It is trying to kill you, and it has 54 more minutes to do so. Could be anyone. All it takes is the right carnage. Butler putting the pressure back on Max Simmons as we pick up that fight there for 4th place in the GTE category. They are quite a ways back of the podium spots, so it's really a two-way fight with them. Andrew D just seems to have completely lost the momentum right now. I don't know what happened. But he had an off-track moment and may have damaged the car. Because he has, since that moment, really not been able to stay with these two guys after earlier running in 3rd place. Magic Kazchuk is another one who seems to be fading quite badly. Maybe a pit stop would be advisable, but of course these cars are on the hard, so if they're trying to go soft tire, we saw Lecurzi ditch the soft tire after just about 32 minutes. So maybe the concern is I want to use the softs, and they're not going to make it to the end right now. They're, let's say, 30 to 40 minutes of life in them. And as a result, even if the car is not functioning properly right now, they're just going to have to go with it. We'll see. Looks like we got Kerry Arnault off. As well as Bertrand Barrier had an off there. They are separated, so I think it worked out for against Arnault there. Didn't see anything, can't really say much. Always have a look at the rear end of Kerry Arnault's car and see if there's any telltale signs of contact. If the camera will cooperate on the matter. Go. No, looks fine. He looks okay. And you know what? This is kind of stuck up on me, but Josiah Jerome is now all over the back of Adam Komorowski. These two have got to be thinking about pit stops soon. They don't have to worry about the whole soft tire life because they don't have them. The GT3s are all just running on hard tires, which honestly probably you can get 90 minutes out of. And it depends if this is accelerated. I don't remember if we have accelerated tire wear on. I should know this. So next time I get on your case about not knowing something, just remind me of this video. One would think either way, pit stops within the next 5 minutes for these two. That would be the halfway point. And if I'm Josiah Jerome, I'm probably going to give it maybe 2 to 3 laps to try to get things going. That being said, if I get stuck behind Komorowski like I did with Delgado, and to a lesser extent Martin Edmonds, I'm probably looking to get into a pits and go for the undercut. We'll see what happens. Meantime, James Butler is on siege against Max Simmons. We know Simmons is probably going to go late with the pit stop. That is his trademark. Let's see if he can do it again. I think we'll be flipping back and forth between these two battles as they heat up. Basically, whichever one the spectator tool is telling me has a closer cap is where I'm going to go. Right now, it's Josiah Jerome for the GT3 lead. That's a big deal. Barrier is off. Oh, no. And out. Bertrand Barrier, our first GTE retirement. And while we were doing that, Komorowski got overtaken by Josiah Jerome. We'll see if he can get him back. That Bentley is a beast in a straightaway. Absorb the draft. But no, terrible timing on Bertrand Barrier's demise. We were with this battle, and we ended up missing the overtake because of what happened. Let's see what Komorowski can do here into turn 1. This is where Jerome got Delgado. And is he about to be on the opposite side of it? He's got the inside line. One of the few turns I actually know pretty well because it's part of the Nürburgring. Very deep. Very deep, but it actually worked as a block against Komorowski. Vic Vega appears to have... Nope, looks like maybe just a connection issue. So pop right back. Maybe just elastic banding a little bit. Have seen some GT3 pit stops already. Henrik Irmer and Gabriel Catanati. But both of them had heavy damage, so I think that was more damage being taken care of than anything else. Wayne Hutchison is also flying all over the place. Oh, pit stops. Vic Vega in the pits. Silly me, Ariel Zatoni, and Rene Irmer. See where they... Well, really, I think we know where they're going to rejoin. They'll rejoin ahead of probably Fight. Maybe even Gaston Lecurzi. Nope, Lecurzi's making his way through. Looks like that gap might be to the next GTE car, which is smart. Yeah, they'll probably come out ahead of Fight. And looks like Vega has gotten the best off of pit row there. Followed by Zatoni and Irmer. So that working out for Vega. in a big way. Because he was fighting with Irmer. And that has overtaken Zatoni and put Zatoni between him and Irmer. Things are settling down again, so we're looking at the pit stops, seeing what can maybe happen. A lot of pit stop play to happen yet. We're approaching the halfway mark. Komorowski sparking out the bottom of his car. Seen that from everyone, of course. Josiah Jerome probably will be the worst about it, as he ran very low at Slovakia Ring, which is a pretty flat track compared to this one. No, Josiah Jerome off! Komorowski back in the lead! Where is he? Where is he? Can Josiah recover? The car looks okay. The car does actually look okay. No, not really. Look at the back end. He went ass first into it. If I were him, I would probably make the pit stop now, because Mauricio Delgado's nice and close to him. And he can't be fighting. He needs clear track. He needs to be able to do his thing. You can see that car is fighting him very hard. Drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane for David Fight, the most recent guy to fall victim. Also, if I may be blunt, it looks like he did not clear his pit stop. That is a problem. It's a problem that David Fight's had for a while, to be honest. Let's stick with Josiah Jerome. Does he pit? I think the answer should be yes. It's halfway through the race. This is about where you'd imagine he had a planned pit stop. It's actually still going reasonably fast. That gap towards Komorowski is actually closing again. So, despite that car looking like it is an absolute handful to drive, it still has speed. Pit lane for Luciano Echazo, and Gabriel Canonati's back in the pits again. Let's check that out. Because he'd already been in once. This is his second stop. It's also Echazo's second stop, but his previous one was not in the pit window. Rene Irmer has gotten past Ariel Zatoni. So Zatoni dropping like a bag of bricks right now. Come on, Josiah. Hit the pit lane. Hit the pit lane, my man. That car is a problem right now. It's also the best time because there's a massive gap opening up basically after Steve Davidson that he can drop into. If he can drop into ahead of Vic Vega and Rene Irmer, he'll have a great deal of free air to work with. I think it would be a good idea. But does Josiah agree? Does the Jerome pit wall agree that after losing it, he might be better off pitting? I mean, he is, like, the weird thing is he is still catching Komorowski. Like, he's got the pace. I just feel like he's playing with fire. Of course, the other question is that car even fixable? Because you've never really seen a back end look like that, to be honest. Not really anything else happening right now. We're just kind of waiting for pit stops. So this is why we're just chilling on Josiah Jerome, this dilemma that is in play. Because there's just not a lot else to talk about right now. The closest together cars in the field right now is Hutchison and Davidson at about 2.5 seconds. So there's just not really much feeding into this right now. And those two have been stationary for quite some time. I think they're just chewing out laps to make a long run overcut strategy work. Oh! Josiah off again. Let's give some love to the race leader, Tobias TH, as he hops into the pit lane. He is led from start to now. Car looking pristine. Interesting that he is undercutting Huerta, though. because Huerta started this race on the soft tires. So what does this mean? I am incredibly intrigued right now. Because we saw the Kersey, who started on the soft tires, ditch them. And we've seen Barthez not really be making much of an impact right now. In fact, he's dropping through the order right now. Is he in the pits? He is in the pits as well. So Huerta is going to go not only overcut the other soft tire runners, but he is overcutting the medium running race leader. I don't know what to make of this. Zatoni's in the pits again. Looks like he's retired. So, the Road America winner is out. There's James Butler. Makes it into the pit lane as well. Anyways. Again, not much else is happening right now. So let's have a look at Steve Davidson and Wayne Hutchison. We have not shown them a lot of love today. They are the two closest together cars that are not in the pit lane. Might as well take a look. Davidson has been uneventful, but to be honest, at Nordschleife, it's what you want to be. You just want to be able to run your laps, do your thing. Where does his fastest lap compare? 8:15.504. Does put him about 9 seconds slower than the pace setter Josiah Jerome, so not amazing, but also not terrible. And for comparison to Wayne Hutchison, he is slightly slower. Hutchison is about 7/10 quicker on his best lap. See what happens. Wayne is metronomic. By the way, Komorowski in the pit lane along with Delgado, Edmonds, and Jerome. So no overcut from Komorowski. Davidson in the pits. I think Hutchison also heading in. And we have just a 3D speed length race to go. They cruise on in. Now I'm intrigued what Jesus Huerta is doing. Because he's overcutting on soft tires. Is he trying to make it soft work here? That'd be intriguing if he does. Because we know, I don't think he in any way can beat Tobias TH in a straight-up fight. Tobias has come out on mediums, by the way. And Barthez on soft. So Barthez is trying soft. This implies that can happen, that will work. Where the medium runners are all coming back out on mediums again. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of mix and matching going on here, which is intriguing. Makes me wonder why everyone did not go softs at the start. Because if the softs can last, and it appears like they can, I don't know why people wouldn't be using them. By the way, Josiah Jerome's car looks like it's being held together with duct tape. Or pardon me, Jesus Huerta's car. And that's kind of amazing that he is leading this race. And he's trying to parlay himself here into the lead when he pits. I mean, I doubt it. Steve Davidson speeding in the pit lane penalty. That's our second one today. Also saw David Feit pick up a penalty for a similar infraction. The only cars left to pit are the top four: Huerta, Simmons, D, and Arnaud. Feit has been in, but it didn't register his pit stop, so he may be going with the fuck it, I'm just going to eat the penalty approach, which if he doesn't know why his pit stop's not being served, might, to be honest, be the approach to use. Action going on. Let's see here. Komorowski and Jerome have come out back at the lead of GT3 pack. About 6 seconds apart, so not a lot going on there. Vic Vega did amazing things at the pit stop, by the way. He's up to third and has Mauricio Delgado behind him. So he jumped Edmonds, Delgado, Ermer, and Zatoni. Mind you, Zatoni has since retired, so I think that may have had more to do with it. But your pit stop winner so far is Vic Vega. The only person I think who could win the pit stops harder would be Josiah Jerome or Jesus Huerta. Why am I mixing those two up? Anyways. If Huerta can get his pit stop done and come out ahead of Tobias TH, he'd be a bigger winner, but I doubt it. I think Vic Vega has pulled it on this one. The strategy hat going to the Danish driver. Looks like he may not have fully fixed his car, though, so we'll see if that comes back to bite him. We've lost Barrier, Fordham, and Barker from today's race. Barthez going on those softs. I don't know. I'm reevaluating everything about the tire strategy here. I thought we were going to be in for like an interesting medium soft, medium debate, but it looks like just apparently two drivers in the field, Jesus Huerta and Roman Barthez, possibly to a certain degree Gaston Lecurzi before things went against him, had decided that these soft tires were usable, and everybody else appears to have not, although we'll see if Simmons, D, and Arnaud go on to softs when they finally pit. This is one of those things you really love. You would love to have a real crew chief right now to give you a heads up that the softs apparently work. And if you were D, Arnaud, and Simmons, you could take massive advantage of that by coming out for your second stint on softs if you weren't intending to. Because the door is very open. It would be definitely something the crew chief would be on the horn about. Meantime, Vega pulling away from Delgado, so not much happening there. Not really sure what the deal with Zatoni's timing is. He's retired, but it's kind of treating him like an active car. To make of that. I have no idea what pace Huerta is setting right now because we're getting invalid laps for most of the field. I think almost every time. Oh, magic cast check off. And spinning back into the barrier. He'll probably keep 8th place regardless. Does get it going, does get it moving again. So that is good. Nothing really going on from a battle standpoint. So let's... Oh, he's coming in. Huerta in, and I think that's Max Simmons behind him. I'm a little concerned that Simmons is caught up to him so badly. Yeah, okay, yeah, he did an 8:10 last lap. That includes a pit stop entry, though. But for comparison purposes, Simmons entering the pit stop still was 7 seconds faster. That is concerning for Huerta, if you're a fan. As my phone goes off, my apologies. Investigate that later. And also in the pit lane, Andrew D. So Kerry Arnaud will be the last one to pit. He will have the Max Simmons Award. Oh, there he is. So Arnaud in the pit lane as well. All right, so where is Tobias TH? Because that is the big question. Yeah, overtaking them all. So any thought that Huerta could overcut him? Out the door. I'm not sure about Huerta's strategy here. He's a magnificent driver, so don't get it wrong, don't get it twisted. But and he may be right that the soft combo can go to the end. We'll see. We'll see what him and Barthez do. They're the ones gambling on it. But it has to be said that he is now way further behind Tobias TH than he was before. So I don't know why you would go on soft tires for this. Max Simmons has gone soft, so he is going to go medium soft. Whether that was his plan or something he's been told, I don't know. Does give him an advantage over D, who's gone mediums. What does Kerry Arnault do? The man who went the furthest on a set of mediums. If anyone should have faith in the softs, outside of maybe Huerta, it's him. So we'll see. And it's softs for Kerry Arnault. So there were some mixed bags coming into play. Simmons and Arnault. We'll see what they can do. Meantime, James Butler on the tail of Max Simmons, although I don't like his chances. He's on the harder tire. And Simmons has just come out of the pit lane. So as soon as Simmons gets some heat in the tires and the brakes, I think he'll pull away from James Butler. May have pulled a very good strategic play here, both Max Simmons and Kerry Arnault. I really like it. We'll see what they can do. We'll see if Simmons can translate this into a podium, because I do really worry about Romain Barthez. Because Barthez is running over 9 minutes right now. And has gone soft. And didn't go that far on the first set of softs. So I'm kinda worried about that play. Max Simmons might be in for a podium fight before the end of this. He's 11 seconds back right now. Let's see what he can do. Let's pop over to the compare to next car option. Barthez versus Simmons. Gap is growing, but I think this is like a section of the track type thing. Yeah, there it is, going back down. We'll check on that if they get closer. It's about 11.5 seconds right now. Otherwise, we do have a little bit of a fight going on for that final step on the podium, held by Vic Vega right now. Delgado and Edmonds on his tail. They've been fighting for that third spot this whole time, but Vega pulled a blinder. Oh no! Oh no, Mauricio! Okay, never mind. I'm used to the track going the other way. I am used to the Nürburgring layout. My apologies. Thought he had made a horrible mistake there, but turns out he did not. Pretty much everything below this is kind of settled. Irmer's well ahead of Hutchison, who's well ahead of Davidson, who's well ahead of Fight, who also probably has a penalty. Who's well ahead of Echazo, well ahead of Cannonati, well ahead of Irmer. Henrik Irmer, by the way, having problems. Is the car going to die, or is it going to... Come on. Dig it out. Dig it out. Come on, Callaway muscle. He might be done. Yeah, he's done. That's unfortunate. I think it would have meant a lot for Rene Irmer to finish this race, and it's a shame that he won't. Or Henrik Irmer, pardon me. It's one of those guys, he's at the back of the pack all the time, but he soldiers through, shows great fortitude, gusto, stick-to-itiveness, whatever you want to call it. Man is not a quitter, and it is really a shame to see him out of this race. I think of all the DNFs, that one hurts the most. Well, Martin Edmonds is the closest to the car he's chasing on the track right now, as he looks to get back at Delgado, 1.5 seconds back, so we'll see a little bit more of these two again. Simmons is closing on Barthez. That is down to about under 11 seconds anyways. Looked like it closed about a second, but now it's growing again, so... Problem with the Nordschleife is that there are concertina zones, and then there are zones where the gap will grow. Not sure that I have a really good word for that. But it does look like he is closing a little bit. Like the low end of that gap is getting lower. The high end of that gap is getting lower. So I think he is closing. But until it gets to like more like in the 5 second range, I'm not sure we can really break it down with a close fine-toothed comb. Luciano Echazo is off or in the pits again. Looks like in the pits again. Looks like some Considerable damage to the front end. Probably will drop in behind this man, Gabriel Cantanati. He's coming through. In the meantime, Tobias TH is outpacing Jesus Huerta by about a second right now. So, even with the soft tires, it just doesn't look like Jesus really has the pace today. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, yellow flag's out. Looks like Jesus Huerta had a moment. Also had Barthez, but that is a more of a just in a yellow flag zone. So this may open up the door for Barthez to maybe make a play. He's the one I'm most worried about though, because he's gone soft, and he's he didn't go nearly as long on the softs at the start. So I'm wondering very much about if his tires will hold up, and if this maybe presents an opportunity for Max Simmons to make a play. Kerry Arnault is just too far behind Andrew D. So while I think he made a good call to go onto the soft tires, I don't think he's positioned himself for anything more than 7th place here today. Gabriel Cantanati in the pits, so rather than overtake Luciano Echazo, it looks like he is similarly going to fix the car up. Unless it felt really bad, I'm not sure I particularly agree with that. But we'll find out. Also, Gaston Lecurzi has been overtaken by GT3 cars. That's it's a little concerning. Josiah Jerome is catching Komorowski fairly quickly. I think that'll be a showdown still. The gap is down under 3 seconds right this second. Let's have a look at that. How's the back end look, Josiah? Looks like they straightened it out. They brought out the big hammer and somehow have straightened out. Nope. It's still a little bit dented in. I was gonna say, I don't even know how you would get that dent out without like a full body shop. But we see weirder stuff in racing. You know, Byron has always been very fascinated with some of the. Oh, hang on! Max Simmons has overtaken Jesus Huerta, who's in the pits again. Oh no! So the double soft gamble. Definitely not working for Jesus Huerta. And that's big news, because that could shake the championship up. Huerta was 8 points ahead, or 12 points ahead of Tobias TH coming into today. And if TH takes the win, it's looking increasingly like he will, he could take the championship lead with Huerta dropping through the order behind Barthez, Simmons, Butler, and D now. Comes back out with soft tires, which obviously makes sense. Also, I turned off the driver info, I think, so my apologies on that matter. Let's get that back. That's what happens when you use the compare command. My bad. Well, that sucks all the fun out of that particular battle, although Simmons is coming down on Barthez, so we got that. We got the battle for the last step on the podium. We got Josiah now down to 2 seconds behind. And this is one of those cases we're using the compare next car. 100%. There it is, the full breakdown of Josiah Jerome, Adam Komorowski fighting for the championship, or the race win here today. Not even really the championship, because Komorowski's not really in the mix. But Josiah Jerome would love to add a 3rd victory to his resume. Victories at Portimao and at Lausitz Ring. He would love more. He's been the most successful driver in this field in this series. And the gap is closing very rapidly. Also, Vic Vega in the pit lane. That is a shame. Vega was looking like maybe a threat for a podium, and now he's in the pit lane. That is not good. Delgado elevated to that spot. with Edmonds about 2.1 behind. Ermer. Hutchison will probably overtake him, I think. Might come out ahead of Steve Davidson. Depends on what the damage is. We'll see. Josiah Jerome. Trying to run down the race leader, Adam Komorowski, who has been, aside from a brief second, the leader all day in the GT3 category. Bringing glory to Bentley. Would be a second straight win for Bentley, wouldn't it? Because I think, I believe Echazo took victory at, no, was it? Yes, it was. It was Luciano Echazo who gave the Bentley Continental 2020 the first win in ESR history. And we could be in for the second one here, courtesy of Adam Komorowski. So David Feit has gone with the eat the penalty approach. Probably advisable. Rather than continuously going down the pit lane trying to get a pit stop in that just isn't happening. I do recommend he probably needs to take a look at what's going wrong because it is short-circuited a couple of races of his now. And in the meantime, it is the battle for the lead of GT3, 9th place overall. Komorowski versus Jerome. Rumble in the forest, I guess. I feel like Rumble in the Forest is like not really an effective title though for anything racing related because you've got Nürburgring, Spa, Monza, all these famous tracks are essentially in a forest. So it's not very specific. I think Rumble at the Beach at Zandvoort would be like one of the few exceptions, not really in the forest. Surfers Paradise in Australia. Rumble on the mountain with Bathurst, I guess. Rumble in the amusement park with Suzuka, but yeah, forest is not really narrowing it down, I guess, in a nutshell. 20 minutes still to go, and everything really seems very settled except for this fight for the lead in GT3 and Max Simmons catching Romain Barthez for what could be second place in this race, with an inspired strategy call for Simmons. I think him and Kerry Arnault really hit the nail on the head as far as the strategy was concerned. But maybe Romain Barthez with the double softs did it. I mean, Tobias TH is going to win this race, probably, on double mediums. But I think that actually was a suboptimal strategy. I think just Tobias is the fastest man around Nordschleife here today. And the pressure is definitively on here for Komorowski. For Josiah Jerome. A man who at times has been criticized for being a little bit of a weak wheel-to-wheel driver. But we've seen him carve his way through the field here today and do an excellent job. Really, the error he made was an unforced error, kind of just on his own. So the racing craft has held up very well today for Josiah. And the two-time ESR Academy champion is looking to extend his lead at the top of the pile here in this series. Already is right now, actually, because he's technically extending his lead over Rita, as well as in the GT3 category over, I said who was second earlier, Jamie Fordham. Oh, it's a really good day for him. Fordham, of course, out of the race. In fact, both BMWs out of the race actually were the first two retirements. I'm surprised I didn't really make a comment about that before, but the M6s both leaving pretty early on, actually lap 3 and lap 2 respectively, has largely left it down. Interesting. Rome's got the pressure on, but does he have an overtake for the very large naval vessel that is the Bentley. Not really anything else happening right now. The gap between Simmons and Barthez continues to close. It's down to 6.4. I think we're getting a showdown there before the end. Edmonds is closing on Delgado for third place in GT3, but that is still at about 2.4 seconds. So not really a cats and dogs fight yet. Not much going on further down the order. Everything is pretty spread out to the point where a lot of these cars would be on a different lap on most tracks, to be honest. But it is not the case here at Nordschleife, which is a colossal 7 to 8 minute lap here in these cars. 9 laps. By the way, we just had the fastest lap of the race set, or at least the second fastest lap, and fastest lap in a long time. Max Simmons doing a 7 minute 52.206. So he is the danger man. He is the Walter White right now. Josiah Jerome. The young guns, Max Simmons and Josiah Jerome, are on the hunt here at Nordschleife. And Josiah Jerome get the job done. He's made the mistake here of going too early. That's too early, Josiah. I think that's too early again. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. The Compare Next car is broken. And he's got it. I was wrong. He went just in time, apparently. Just in time. Oh, there's an event info thing. What does that can actually tell us? Doesn't tell us if we have accelerated tire wear on or not. Well, let's see if Josiah can drop Komorowski like a bad habit. Andrew D, by the way, is getting very close to James Butler, so that's shaping up for a little bit of a rumble. Edmonds is getting much closer to Delgado, so we got some very important fights still to be decided here. I'm loving every second of it. I feel like D maybe missed out on the soft tire trick on that pit stop. Because Kerry Arnaud is going much faster than him right now. He's obviously not the car behind him. He's quite a ways back. They got Jesus Huerta between them, but they pitted at about the same time, and Max Simmons. And the soft tire takers are currently putting up some of their best laps of the race. And D is not so fortunate. He's just... Oh, Komorowski off. Well, sorry, Komorowski, that we showed that on on the broadcast here. Martin Edmonds is all over the back end of Mauricio Delgado. Can he get the job done? It's a bit weird because, to be honest, it's felt like Delgado's been the faster guy of these two for a reasonably large amount of time. And now, all of a sudden, Edmonds is coming on hard. And that's not his trademark. His trademark, of course, is the tire burner. So you would think at this point in the race would not be a strong time for Martin Edmonds, but he is bringing it in that frickadelli Porsche. Kind of interested to see Max Simmons' next lap time. By the way, he's down to less than 3 seconds to Barthez. If something doesn't happen here rather quickly, we'll be going to that battle. But they are catching up to Komorowski now, who had that off. And the pressure is off Josiah Jerome. Looking like he's going to join the triple win club with Jesus Huerta. Can Martin make a fight of this? Before we go look at the other battle for second, or the other battle for a podium. We have one running car that has not had a single legal lap today. That is Gaston Lecurzi. His best lap is none set. That's always always a bit of an alarming statistic to be the air quote proud owner of. If Simmons gets to within a second of Barthez, we are going to that fight. So Martin, this is your chance to shine. You gotta give me something. He is closing it down. The gap is low. Let's pull up the compare car here. Going for it. Don't be confused. This is not the battle for 12th. This is the battle for 3rd in GT3. It's just a multi-class race. The GTEs do not exist, as far as these cars are concerned. Andrew D is down to less than a second to Butler. So that pressure is on. Despite my criticism of D's medium strategy, it may yet give him a 4th place, which would be very needed in his championship aspirations. Big score for everyone who finishes in the GTE category. Only 9 cars running. So big points today for everybody who gets to the end of Nordschleife. D falling back. Simmons still charging forward. Edmonds, he's there, and they seem to be catching Komorowski at a pretty good clip. I'm waiting for the lap to end so we can get some updated lap times to maybe have an idea of where things are going. But, of course, again, it's an 8-minute lap. There's a lot to play here. Probably only looking at 2 more laps to go. Depending where the leader is, we'll get this lap for sure, at least one after it. Maybe a 3rd one there. We might get to lap 13. We will see. All depends on how this goes with the finish line. Gaston Lecurzi pulling aside. Looks like he realizes his day is essentially done. And Martin Edmonds used it to open up the window. Can he get the job done against Mauricio Delgado? Yes, he can. Into the carousel. Edmonds ahead. Edmonds ahead and onto the podium. Max Simmons overtaking, potentially. Can he get it done? Yes, he can. We didn't really miss much, though. He got it done on a straightaway. Does Barthez have anything left to fight him back on? Because Barthez has some old soft tires on that car. Simmons's are much fresher. See what he can do. Delgado's still in the attack zone against Edmonds. See if he can get it back. D is down to 2 seconds in his fight with Butler. Simmons and Barthez side by side. Well, not quite side by side, but into turn 1 fighting. Simmons getting the better of it. We'll stick with this for a while yet, though, I think. I think this is the most intriguing fight on the out there right now. Although I think that it's a tire war that Simmons has won, and I'm expecting for him to pull away. And it is happening a little bit. Up to about a second. A little bit under that. Mauricio Delgado creeping closer to Martin Edmonds. Can Mauricio get the job done? Get that position back. Get that podium back. Has Delgado had a podium in this series? Because it would be a big deal, I think, for Mauricio if he were to get a podium here. No, his best finish has been a pair of 7ths. So he's on for his best finish either way. But it does feel like a podium would just be that pièce de résistance on the matter. But it is P4 for now. As someone who has not seen a podium in a really, really long time, I will always cheer for the guys who are going for a rare podium. That is, generally speaking, my goals in life. Is to see new blood get to the front. And if it's not a win, then at least give me a podium. And Mauricio Delgado is that guy right now. He's got the pressure on. Komorowski is skating away, so I think the Bentley has found it. By the way, we got some lap updates here. Lap 11. A lot of invalid laps, so that doesn't really help me. Tobias TH and Andrew D had legal laps. And so did Magic Kazchuk. And Edmonds. And that's about it. That's about it. So, making it hard. Making it hard to talk about the deep, nitty-gritty numbers right now. Simmons is pulled away by up to about 4 seconds over Barthez. I think that fight is done. Andrew D is on the assault against James Butler. See what we can do here. Get back to 4th place, maybe. It's been a rocky day for D. I think he would take a 4th if it was on offer. I think that everything considered, that would not be a bad result. He's made some mistakes. I don't think he's really been involved in any wars with anyone that we've seen. But a couple of mistakes. Probably has taken about a podium contention, but 4th place would be a nice little salve on the wound there. Probably only going to get 12 laps here. I think based on... didn't see where Tobias actually passed the line in terms of time, but we'll check with maybe 2 minutes left to see where he is, and if we're gonna get another one. D down the inside and gets the job done pretty cleanly. Looks like Butler is struggling with some damage. Oh boy! James Butler in the wall. If he wasn't struggling with damage before, he is now. Can he get going before Huerta? Oh, no, 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 oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Huerta up into 5th. I don't think anyone's really happy with that, to be honest. Huerta has been the guy everyone's trying to catch in the championship. So to see him in the... Gaston Lecurzi, by the way, in the pit lane again. Delgado now. Again, the attack zone guy. Trying to get past Martin Edmonds. Porsche v. Callaway. Corvette v. Porsche. Corvette v. 911. So many historical rivalries. So many. Can Mauricio Delgado get the job done? This is possibly the last lap. Last spot really kind of up for grabs. Everything else is pretty settled right now. Oh, Barthez overtook Simmons. How did that happen? Simons has thrown away a 2nd place, apparently. It's lovely to know. Let's have a look at the car. It's been showing damage pretty much this whole race, so I can't really trust it. Looks okay. Not saying that you can't make it. He's probably right now praying for another lap, because theoretically his tires are much better than Barthez's. So if he can get another lap, maybe he gets another shot at that 2nd place. But we'll find out. Right now, it's Roman Barthez. Stunningly enough, I think Barthez is the only eSports Racing Argentina guy on the podium right now. Despite the fact that community has been absolutely amazing in both the multi-community series that we've done. With TUGAS and ESR and eSports Racing Argentina, and RCA was involved in the last one. By the way, shout out to RCA. Come back. We enjoyed some of your guys on the grid. Can Delgado get this job done? Sorry, Martin. I would like to cheer for my boss, my fellow admin, but right now I am in Mauricio Delgado's camp. I've got the Carlos Delgado jersey out. Because why not? It says Delgado on it. We want this to happen. Actually, is the only Blue Jay jersey I have is the Carlos Delgado one. It's in the closet. You know what? I'll take if he gets the podium, I'll take a picture of me in the Carlos Delgado jersey if I dig it out. But we'll see. We'll see. I have a lot of Blue Jays stuff, despite not really being a Blue Jays fan. Let's see, where is Tobias right now with 2 minutes to go? Let's get the track map up here. Where is that? I think we're going to get another lap. So, if I may borrow a line from The Wire, Max Simmons, this is Baltimore, but the gods have decided to smile on you. And the chance to take second place back is on the table. He has closed it by about 2 seconds in just this partial lap. So the chance is there. Can he get it done? And Delgado probably loving this as well. And Tobias has started lap 12. We will get a 12th lap. I was thinking we might get to 13, which is obviously not the case. Either that or we're on... No, I think we're on lap 13. I think so. So I think it's showing the completed lap count. I'd have to go back to the beginning of the race to remember, but try to remember how race room works, if this is completed laps or lap that they're on. But this might be lap 12, this might be lap 13, I'm not sure. We'll find out. Barthez is on the last lap. Simmons is on the last lap. D on the last lap. Pretty shortly we'll have Huerta on the last lap. There he is. Mauricio not getting the job done. He's falling back. Max Simmons is down to 3 seconds. He is on the hunt. Can he get it done? Barthez is running some not very good laps at this point. He is the second slowest GTE so far on the lap. We haven't seen Arno or Kaschek's lap times. And also Simmons was invalid, so he probably actually was the slowest. Seeing as he lost second place. But Barthez is struggling. He's down to he's almost 10 seconds off of his best lap right now. So that set of tires is crying out for mercy. Can Simmons hunt him down? Simmons has got fresher tires than anyone except for potentially Huerta, who had that second pit stop, and Kerry Arnaud, who was slightly after Simmons in the pit lane. Delgado back on the attack against Martinho. Can Martin hang on? Would this be his first podium of the series? Kind of intrigued to ask that question now. Where is Martin Edmonds? It would be his best result, a pair of fourths. So I'm gonna be happy either way it goes, because he's been robbed of a podium twice this season, this series, and not been robbed is not the right word. I can't remember the circumstances, but you know, he's been the guy just off the podium twice this season. So I would not mind to see him keep it, but I really wouldn't mind seeing Mauricio Delgado on the podium, Chilean national anthem going, Chilean flag up, and the bubble flowing for him. Because I don't think we've ever seen him on the podium before. Time Max Simmons is the other man to watch. On the tail. It's getting closer. You can see it. Down to a second. Between him and Romain Barthez. He did it once before. Can he do it again? By the way, Josiah Jerome running away with it in GT3 right now. Tobias TH running away from it in GTE right now. So credit to the winners. They have raced a fantastic race. Tobias has been absolutely faultless, and I actually am a little bit sad that on his moment of great glory, he's featured so little on the broadcast. But that is the way it goes sometimes. When you're 40.5 seconds ahead and really haven't been near anyone since lap 1. Simmons hunting down. Delgado hunting down. The battles are on. These are for podiums here, ladies and gentlemen. This is important stuff. Everybody else, no offense, but everybody else on the track, you are secondary right now to the hunt from Max Simmons and the hunt from Mauricio Delgado. This is what we're going to be looking at down the stretch. Where are they on the track? Tobias TH is working his way through the last little bit. Lecurzi might get lapped. Barthez and Simmons. You know, Luciano Echazo stuck around and actually is going to give a top 10 out of this despite some pretty rough times. So I just want to give him a big round of applause. He's been our stick-to-this guy of the day. And I'm thinking about driver of the day. It's always a bit hard. Like, it feels like I have to give it to Tobias. It's been a masterclass. But at the same time, it's been boring. But you know what? We haven't seen Tobias put together, like, this is not like Mike Stockmill putting together a masterclass, or even an Andrew Warden, who's pretty dominant in 3D speed right now. This is a little bit of a lesser known driver, so I do think that that's probably the case. If Delgado gets a podium, maybe it's him. I don't think under any circumstances it's Max, because like it or not, you didn't qualify, Max, which is always a bit troubling. The race has been great, but he also threw away second place because he has already overtaken Barthez and then lost the position back to Barthez. Coming down the final bit here. Waiting on the checkered flags. Barthez's car looks like a handful. It's doing a lot of lateral drift. Simmons's looks a lot more planted. But that does not matter if he cannot find a way past and into second place. Delgado's drifted to about a second and a half back. I don't know if that's on. Huerta has caught up a lot to Andrew D, actually. He's under 3 seconds, so we might have to check that one out at the line. Here comes Simmons around the outside. Balls of steel. And second place for the young man from the United States of America. The sandbag has gotten to second place once again. Can Barthez strike back? I doubt it. I just don't think his tires are in a position to be able to do it. But we'll find out. There's the amount of track that that they have left to work with. They're coming up to the long straight. Tobias TH coming towards the end. He will take the checkered flag and be your winner here at Nordschleife. In fact, let's hop on with him for a second here. As he comes around, Tobias TH, first to the checkered flag. And your winner in the GTE class for the second time today. And you know what? I don't like to do it normally. It feels kind of lazy. But it is Tobias TH who is going to get the driver of the day. It was a masterclass. Roman Barthez is not done with Max Simmons. They battle it out for second place still. Into the final bit. Into the arena for the last time. Max Simmons, second place. Roman Barthez ran the soft tire all the way to a third place finish. Very nice. Andrew D, late defense here against championship leader Jesus Huerta. Huerta wants that last little bit of points. Can he get them? I don't know. We're going to find out. Probably not, though. There's the last corner. Huerta is not ahead. Not side by side. Andrew D hangs on to 4th place from Jesus Huerta. Now we got James Butler. He'll look like he'll take home 6th. Is there anything else going on? Well, there still is Delgado versus Edmonds, but I think, unfortunately, Martin Edmonds, ESR admin. Well, not unfortunately. I really wanted to see Delgado get it. But it will be Martin Edmonds with his first podium this season in this series. Big deal for him. I think it's the first podium for the Porsche GT3 cars. Want to say, unless Rene Ermer. No, second. Rene Ermer had one at Road America. I was going to say Ermer was the other candidate. And I think our GTEs are all finished. Butler, Arnaud. Not Kaschuk still needs to get across the line. Josiah Jerome will, despite a nasty collision with something that led to him getting a dented rear end. Good thing he wasn't a Ford Pinto. The Audi R8 driver is taking his 3rd victory. By the way, only Audi in the field. 3 victories. Show the Audi some love, guys. I don't know what it is, ESR, and apparently eSports Racing Argentina and TUGAS. We don't like the Audi. We don't like the venerable R8. And it's bringing home the bucks for everyone who is brave enough to drive it. Adam Komorowski, it felt like he might have had a win here today. I mean, Josiah Jerome did start dead last. Komorowski had pole. But I don't want to underplay how this went. Komorowski definitely picked up some damage at some point because his pace in the second half of the race was just not there, but he does bring the Bentley home in 2nd place. Martin Edmonds in behind him, taking the podium for Porsche, ahead of the Callaway of Mauricio Delgado. Rene Ermer working his way down the big straight. Vic Vega, Wayne Hutchison, Steve Davidson, all still out there looking to finish. See if they can. I know there's usually a clock timer at the end of these races, but we may have completely just gone ridiculous with it because this is Nordschleife. Rene Ermer, P5 in GT3. Vic Vega, I don't know what happened. That second pit stop is still very strange to me. It looked like he was going to have a podium here today. And instead, it's just going to be a P6, but it was an exciting P6. And, I mean, anytime you get to the finish at Nordschleife, you deserve 100% credit for it. And he's come across the line now. Wayne Hutchison in the top finishing Mercedes. I think the only other one that made it to the end was Gabriel Cantonati, who was down a lap. And as a result, is already done. There's Hutchison. And our last finisher, although not our last classified, will be the Callaway C7 of Steve Davidson. P8, the GT3 category. Will have officially beaten Luciano Achazzo and Gabriel Cantonati and David Feit, who I think made it to the end. I think got lapped. And is facing a penalty for pit stop infringement. In the sense that he did not accept a pit stop. Might have actually retired, but he did make it to the last lap. So I think even if he did retire, he completed minimum distance and will score. But Dave does need to sort out his issues as far as pit stops are concerned, because this has happened a couple times. I think Lausitz Ring was a big problem for him. Now this. He's got a lot of potential. He just needs to kind of clean up some of the technical aspects of his game. As we await Steve Davidson's finish here. We'll hear a little beep from Microsoft. We need to fix your Microsoft account. No, you fucking don't. Go away. There it is, Steve Davidson to the line. giving us a little fireworks show as he enters the arena and finishes the race. It is done. Tobias Th, your winner from Max Simmons, Roman Barthez, Andrew D, Jesus Huerta, James Butler, Kerry Arnaud, Magic Kazchuk in the GTE category. That was first through 8th place. Josiah Jerome, your winner in GT3 from Adam Komarowski, Martin Edmonds, Mauricio Delgado, Rene Ermer, Vic Vega, Wayne Hutchison, Steve Davidson, Luciano Chazo, and Gabriel Catanati. Also finishing the race in 9th place in GTE, Gaston Lacurzi. We did officially get a DNF for David Veit. Henrik Ermer also out, as well as Ariel Zatoni, Bertrand Barrier, Jamie Fordham, and John Barker. A dark day for BMW, and a bright day for Audi and Porsche. They bring it home. Bentley had a pretty solid one as well. That leaves us for the Nordschleife. Next up is going to be Spa-Francorchamps. So from one great historical murder ball to another, please tune in 2 weeks' time. That'll be when we hit things off once again.